Okay, so we've got a coal-fired power station and a wind turbine. They're both ways of generating electricity, so they both produce electrical power. The power station produces 1,200 megawatts, and the wind turbine produces 1.5 megawatts. Now, anything that's measured in watts is power. So that's telling me not how much energy it produces, but its power output, which is the energy per second. Okay, so it's telling me in 1 second, the coal power station produces 1,200 million watts of energy, and in 1 second, the wind turbine produces 1.5 million watts of energy. Now, the question then says, give one advantage of using wind turbines instead of coal-fired power stations to produce electricity. The most obvious ones, okay, is that there are no or very little in the way of greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so no greenhouse gas emissions. The main greenhouse gas that we're looking at would be CO2, so you could specifically write no carbon dioxide emissions. At least while it's running, there won't be. In manufacturing the wind turbines and installing them, there will obviously have been some carbon dioxide used, but actually in the operation, it should be zero emissions. The other disadvantage of a coal power station is that it's non-renewable. While if you use wind turbines, you're generating electricity based on the sun. So as long as the sun's energy is warming up the planet and creating the wind, we're always going to have it. Okay, so we can say that it is renewable. And another advantage as well is the fact that you're not paying for any of your kind of raw material here. In a coal power station, you have to pay for your coal. You have to dig it out of the ground. While with wind turbine, your source of energy is free. Source of energy is free. Now, the next part of the question says that coal-fired power stations are still in general use now, and in fact, that they're pretty much the most popular way of generating electricity. So why have wind turbines not replaced them? If we've got these advantages of wind turbines, that they don't produce greenhouse gases, that they're renewable, so they're not going to run out of source of energy, that they get their energy source for free, why are we not using them more? So there must still be advantages that coal has over wind. And the best way for me to answer this is just to show you the mark scheme, because there's a number of acceptable answers here. And these are the points that the mark scheme states. Unreliability, okay, because the wind power relies on the weather. If there's no wind, we don't get any energy. Okay, we need, the wind is actually too high, then sometimes the wind turbines have to shut down because the mechanism can't take too high speeds. So they cannot be running 24 hours a day every day. There's also the environmental effects of a wind turbine. Now, although the environmental effects are generally a lot less than a coal power station, they can obstruct the view, they can be noisy, they can destroy natural habitats. The choice of a site, we need somewhere where there's plenty of wind, and we need somewhere with a lot of space, because in order to produce a decent amount of energy, you're going to need a few wind turbines. Okay. They talk about maintenance difficulties, that you may need to be fixing the wind turbines in the middle of nowhere, up on hills, out at sea, for example. They've given marks if you use the data to realise that actually you'd need 800 turbines to give as much energy as a coal power station. And the cost too that building wind farms can be expensive. Again, less than a coal power station, but you're going to need to build 800 of these, and that can be quite expensive business.